And welcome back to the channel. There's two things I want to cover today. One is Chad Daybell, his recruitment ritual, and second, what's going on inside of that brain of Lori's. When I look at these cases, I want to know, what were they thinking? What are they thinking? So let's get into it. Something we can all agree upon is Lori grew up in the LDS religion, or RLDS religion. Now, if there's anything that I have learned about this religion is sexual abuse goes deep. If you don't believe me, look at Warren Jeff's daughter for an example of someone that talks about the sexual abuse that goes on in the LDS church or RLDS church. I believe Lori was molested at a young age. I don't know if she'll ever admit this because sexual abuse is almost embarrassing for the victim. It's not right that they feel like that, but it's shameful. It feels dirty. But we are also talking about a narcissist that will try to have people feel sorry for her. Maybe in the long run, this will come out because she may try to use it. So over the years, sexual abuse or abuse in general will affect the brain. So I'm going to try to explain the brain in a street way of talking so it makes sense. The limbic system in our brain is the survival part. It drives us towards safety by avoiding pain and seeking pleasure. This, of course, happens at a subconscious level. Our prefrontal cortex of our brain is the rational conscious part. This is where logical reasoning happens and behavior regulation occurs. Trauma from sexual abuse can hinder the brain development. So the reason I mention the limbic system is because trauma affects this. It gets stuck in survival mode, almost like an alarm going off loudly. You can't think because you're concentrating on the alarm. It then gets the brain stuck. And I guess an alarm phase would be a good example of that. Like an alarm is like constantly going off. So you can't concentrate, you can't think because this alarm is constantly telling you you're not safe. You therefore will see the world unsafe even if the threat has faded. The limbic system overpowers the logical part of our brain. So in essence, the logical part of our brain dwindles. Again, this is the subconscious thinking and not logical thinking. These feelings can lead to absolute negative behaviors, thoughts, and actions, almost constantly in fight or flight. I am not making excuses for Lori Vallow. I am simply trying to understand her process of thinking. Now, Lori Vallow is a perfect candidate for Chad Daybell. Cults use a technique called love bombing. Have you heard of it? I hadn't heard of it until I started researching Linda Green. She was the leader of the Samaritan cult out of Oklahoma. That'll be another video. But that's when I heard about love bombing. So, what is love bombing? It is when someone showers you with attention and promises you the world. So Lori starts going to Chad's seminars and she sees this vibrant, well-spoken, idolized man. But what Lori did not know is she was being groomed with the cult ritual for recruiting. So Lori is starry-eyed and jello with infatuation. All along, Chad is recruiting Lori for his idyllic ways. He has charm that is almost like a spell. You get around him and you want to hang on every word he is saying. He feels like an old soul with tons of knowledge. If you have never been around someone like this, you will. Their energy is almost like magic, palpable. You can feel it. So love bombing is not like a new definition. It has been around since 1970s. So an individual might interpret love bombing as kindness or an idealistic manifestation of devotees' belief that their relationship to spiritual truth and divine love enables them to radiate love. It is also commonly interpreted as a sinister technique. Love bombing is the courtship phase of the recruitment ritual, which is to seduce the new recruit into the organization's embrace, slowly getting them into doing the strange rituals and complex their belief system. This doesn't have much to do with the Daybell case, but love bombing is also used with your pimps. Okay, so love bombing works because we as humans have a natural need to feel good about who we are. And oftentimes we cannot fill this need on our own. There are times that people are more susceptible to falling for the love bombing. An example would be divorce or losing a job. Love bombers are experts at detecting low self-esteem and exploiting it. On contrary, though, the love bomber is also insecure. The target must seem like a really good catch. An example, a beautiful woman, hence aka Lori, right? Who's lonely because their beauty intimidates people, or he's the guy with the great career whose wife left him for his best friend. Or she could be the hard-nosed businesswoman who's avoided marriage or true love due to their childhood. On paper, these folks to us look like the gem, but something makes them doubt their own value. Again, sexual abuse. Along comes the love bomber to shower them with affection and attention. The dopamine rush of the new romance is vastly more powerful than it would be if the other individual had high self-esteem. So the love bomber feels a need the target cannot fill on her own. There isn't tons of deep research on love bombing, so this is just speculation from what I have learned about love bombing. However, I do think this is an area that would benefit greatly from scientific investigation, given how important personal relationships are within our everyday life. So now we have a little bit of an idea of Lori's brain and how it works and thinks, and we see a tactic that Chad's used on multiple, I don't want to call them victims, on multiple people, and including Lori. Like, subscribe, share, or don't. I'll see ya.